What's going on, everybody? This is Bronco Juggalo, and I'm coming at you today with my fourth review in the Nightmare on Elm Street series. We are doing today The Dream Master. No music due to a copyright flag. Thanks, YouTube. The Dream Master was directed by Rennie Harlan, and it stars returning as Kristen, Patricia Arquette, Kenny Sagos as Kincaid, and the character of Joey once again being played by Rodney Eastman. This story, of course, also, as always, or at least in the originals, as always, features Robert Englund as Freddy Krueger, our favorite knife-handed slasher. So let's just jump right into this review. So our story starts off with Kristen. This is after the events of 3. She starts having dreams again. She believes that Freddy is returning. And she still has the power to pull people into her dreams, which she does with Kincaid and Jesse. And they're trying to convince her that Freddy's gone. It's over. Don't worry about it anymore. Well, she knows something's up. The next night after Kristen's dream, Kincaid has a dream that he is waking up in the trunk of a car. And he knocks open the trunk of the car and he finds out he's in this gigantic scrapyard. And he cannot figure out what's going on. His dog is in the dream, and his dog is digging up Freddy's remains. As the dog digs deeper and deeper, he stops, growls at Kincaid, turns around, and takes a piss on Freddy's remains. Now, what comes out of the dog is a piss stream of fire. That somehow reanimates Freddy and brings him back to life, and he ends up killing Kincaid and then Joey immediately following. After Kincaid's dream, it shows Joey asleep, and Joey has a dream, and he gets killed in his dream. So it leaves Kristen and her new group of friends to fight and figure out what's going on and take on Freddy Krueger. This movie has the honor of bringing in the next, what we call, final girl, and that is the character by the name of Alice. Alice is played by Lisa Wilcox, and she is the character of the Dream Master. She, just like Kristen, has the power, or maybe she inherits from Kristen. It's kind of ambiguous. I believe that the way it looks is she inherits from Kristen, or Kristen passes it on to her. But she inherits the power to pull people into the dreams, to go into the dreams of others. And also, every time Freddy kills somebody, you know how he takes the souls and he gets his energy and he feeds off the souls of the people he kills. She would take a part of that soul. She got the power. He got the soul, but she got the power from them. So as the movie goes on, she starts to change a little bit, and she starts to adopt the other characters' personality traits. Her brother in the film is Kristen's boyfriend, and every time I watch it, I think, who is the Karate Kid wannabe? But that is exactly what he is. He's all into martial arts and karate and things like that. And so when he dies, and this it will be filled with spoilers, my reviews usually do have spoilers, just to let everybody out there know. When he dies, Kristen gets his, or not Kristen, I'm sorry, Alice gets his martial arts expertise. She gets some traits from Kristen. She gets traits from other friends that pass. At the end of the movie, Kristen is there with her boyfriend Dan, who is the other survivor, and they believe Freddy is gone again, as usual. They think it's happily ever after, and that's it. I guess the reason why I'm giving this movie synopsis kind of a short review is that's really all there is to it to me. This is the highest grossing film in the Nightmare on Elm Street series until the drop of Freddy vs. Jason. When Freddy vs. Jason came out, it broke that record. But until then, this was the highest grossing film in the series. It made in the US $49 million domestically, which for 1988 is pretty damn good. By today's standards, it's nothing. But for a horror film in 1988, that was a lot of money. Robert Englund, as always, does a superb job in this. The special effects are pretty good. Most of them are practical. The practical effects are decent. The few CGI effects they use are okay. This movie, I know it actually comes out to some people as some of their favorite. I personally think this is where the franchise took a bit of a turn. A little bit for almost the worst, I want to say. I mean, there's movies after this that I like, but this movie and the next film, Part 5, which I'll get into in my Part 5 review, are probably not as good as some of the others. This particular film, for me, is the most forgettable. I can't remember most of the characters' names every time I watch it. I just watched it last night. And aside from the main characters, I really don't remember most of their names. In fact, the only reason I remember Dan, her boyfriend, Alice's boyfriend, is because he's also in the next film. In this film, it's not a bad film. It's a decent film. It's got some okay stuff to it. It just, like I said, to me, it's very forgettable. As for the kills in this film, the kills to me weren't that great. I believe this was around the time where they were cracking down on horror films for gore and violence and things like that. So that may be part of the reason why it's not so great in some places. But, I mean, they're creative, they're done differently. There's some different stuff going on, like one girl who likes to work out a lot, but she also hates bugs. She gets turned into a bug, and Freddy kills her by crushing her while she's stuck inside of a roach motel in her dreams, and she dies. It just wasn't that interesting of a kill to me. None of the kills really are. Like I said, this movie to me is just very forgettable. If I'm putting in a Nightmare on Elm Street video just to watch, it's never this one. I'll even take 5 over this one usually. I like 5. A lot of people hate 5. I like it. I'll get into that in my review of 5. So this is definitely going to be a shorter review than most. I was watching it last night thinking, you know, what's my favorite line from this movie? What's my favorite kill? And honestly, I really didn't get any. And you know what? Maybe it's not so much that there was bad kills or bad lines, but part 3 was so good and it was so well written and the kills were so awesome. To me, part 3 has some of the best kills in the entire franchise. And I just don't think that they could top them. And they didn't. They really didn't. I don't know if they were trying to top them, but it didn't work. So, to me, the kills were just not near as good as they were in 3. The characters are nowhere near as good as they were in 3. I mean, the pinnacle of this series is actually parts 1, 3, and New Nightmare, and Freddy vs. Jason. So, the ones that interspece between them, they're not as good of movies. There's some of them that I like a lot. Like, I'll get into that in my ranking series. You might be surprised. There's actually one particular movie that I like a lot in this series that most people can't stand. I really love the movie. But it's still not a good movie. It's not a great movie. I just happen to really like it. So I'm really not going to go into a bunch of pros and cons like I usually do, because really this movie is just kind of a meh to me. It's there just to give us another Nightmare on Elm Street movie. They made part 3 in 87, or came out in 87. Part 4 came out in 88, and part 5 came out in 89. So they were churning these things out like that. You know, they were trying to capitalize, trying to get it while it was hot. And I think maybe they could have put some space between. Maybe if they would have let it breathe a little bit, let 3 sink into people a little longer, get the reactions from 3 all the way through before they jumped into production on 4, maybe they could have written a better script for 4. So, even though this is the highest grossing film in the franchise up until Freddy vs. Jason, it's one of my least favorites, honestly. And as I said, it's just kind of meh, kind of humdrum. It's not a great film. If you like campy 80s stuff, it's okay. That's pretty much all I got to say about the movie today, guys. It really is. I do want to give a shout out to a friend of mine, my homie, over at another movie review channel called Play It Now. Go check him out. He has some awesome reviews. Put your comments in the section below. Tell me what you think of this movie, what you think of the entire series. Just give me your thoughts. Let's have a talk about it. I Want to also point out, if you like this jersey, if you like the particular garb that I'm wearing today, this is a mob style jersey from the artist Buckshot. It is a baseball jersey. It is one of my favorite jerseys. It's an awesome jersey. You can go over to his site at mobstyle.com and pick up this jersey for a really decent price. For jerseys of this kind and jerseys like music jerseys, hockey jerseys, things like that, Buck has the best prices and some of the best quality you will find out there. He didn't pay me to say this. He didn't even ask me to say this. I really like his stuff. I'm going to promote it. You can also pick up this cool Buckshot chain over there. If you like it, check it out. I'm telling you guys, you won't be disappointed. So, anyways, from now, I'll see you guys later.